Business with Stephen now, and an old friend is back with us once again. I'm not talking about Stephen, I'm talking about the latest twist in the case of the rogue French trader. Well, you are an old friend. You're a current friend as well, Stephen. That's what it is. The rogue French trader Jérôme Kerviel.
Yes, Jérôme Kerviel back in the news today. He, of course, was jailed for causing almost €5 billion worth of losses while he worked at the French bank Société Générale. Now, he's currently taking a case to have the judgment against him thrown out for fraud. Now, a police inspector who led the investigation in the case says that she's certain management at Société Générale knew what he was doing. Nathalie Leroy's testimony is being reported by the French news website Mediapart. She says that Jérôme Kerviel's activity was known within the bank. Now, Kerviel has always claimed that his superiors were aware of his activity. The bank has yet to comment on the report, but this is very important because it goes to the issue of who was responsible and where responsibility lies. The bank has always said they didn't know what he was doing, which is why he was called a rogue trader. If he was found to have known what he was doing, of course, that would change where the liability would lie.
OK, we shall see. Another old friend now, Greece. A leaked memo from the IMF has given some insight into the state of the country's finances.
Yes, the question, of course, we've been asking for weeks now is when is Greece going to run out of money? Well, a leaked memo from the board meeting of the International Monetary Fund shows that without a deal to secure the last $7 billion of its bailout loans, Greece will be unable to pay the next $1.5 billion it owes the IMF next month. As you can see from this quote from that memo, there'll be no possibility for Greek authorities to repay that money. Now, Greece has been locked in talks with its international lenders for almost 4 months now over economic reforms. They don't appear any closer to a solution. The sticking points remaining include labour market reforms and cuts to pensions. A spokesman for the ruling Syriza coalition saying yesterday that Greece wouldn't accept a take-it-or-leave-it deal if their creditors tried to force their hand. Let's listen to the Greek Prime Minister Alexis Tsipras, who was speaking about this last on Friday.
I want from this podium to reassure the Greek people that there is no possibility or chance for the Greek government to back down in the matter of salaries and pensions. Employees and pensioners have suffered enough in our country.
Let's take a look at what's happening on the markets and how things have started the week here in Europe. Main markets opening mostly down. London's FTSE 100 just seeing some very slight gains at the open. Interesting, Société Générale, after that news from Mediapart on the Jérôme Kerviel case, they're down slightly at the open here in Paris. A slightly worse situation for the company Edenred. They're down 2.5%. Over in Asia, you can see a pretty mixed picture in the markets there. The Hang Seng in Hong Kong, they're seeing the biggest falls, down over 1% in trading.
Going to take you back to the Cannes Film Festival now. It's a bit of an issue that's being discussed rather on the sidelines, isn't it?
Of course, this is an industry event as well as just being a film festival where you get to see these new films. So copyright, a very big issue for TV and filmmakers, and how they can combat piracy of their material. The head of France's biggest broadcasters have written to Facebook to ask for its help to stop their videos being shared illegally, as Naomi Lloyd now explains.
While out on the red carpet is where the cameras are. Inside at Cannes is where the big debates for the film and TV industry are happening. The latest, the issue of video piracy, which is costing French broadcasters dearly. They're now piling on the pressure to stop online users being able to share their programmes without permission. All of the major French TV broadcasters have written a joint letter to the presidents of Facebook and Twitter, asking them to put measures in place to fight piracy. What they want are automatic filters blocking unauthorised content from being shared, such as those already used by YouTube and French video streaming portal Dailymotion. A friendly letter for now, but adding they reserve the right to take further legal action if nothing is done. No response yet from Twitter or Facebook.
There is a joint interest today to keep alive cultural diversity with these new mediums that exist alongside the traditional broadcaster. These new players must also contribute financially to the creation of the work.
The debate comes as French film and programme makers are also preparing for battle with the EU, who want to overhaul copyright law and work towards a digital single market where copyright owners would no longer be able to limit access to their material to individual countries.
Now, I'm quite shocked by these figures Stephen's about to give us. He's been looking at the business of lotteries in the US.
Yeah, it's a really fascinating story. So lotteries are legal in 43 US states, and official figures have shown that people spent $70 billion on them last year. That's more than Americans spent on cinema tickets, books, video games, or recorded music. By state, the highest spend per adult was in Rhode Island, where it reached $800 per adult. But it's interesting when you look at who actually buys these tickets. According to research quoted by The Atlantic, the poorest third of households buy half of all lotto tickets, even to some people saying that it's like a $70 billion tax on the poor, because a lot, of course, the money raised by these lotteries gets retaken by state taxes and pumped into state services. So it's interesting to see how that very big industry in the United States breaks down.
Interesting lesson for you there. Stephen, thanks a lot on business.